Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aurelia and today we are doing a chatty get ready with me and we can chat about stuff. I don't know, I've got a few things that I kind of wanted to talk about, get off my chest and get your thoughts and ideas on. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Let's go ahead and get started. This is not a tutorial, so I'm not going to walk you through what it is that I'm doing or anything like that. This video might be a little lengthy and I apologize about that. Hopefully my lighting will cooperate with me today because my window faces directly east and the sun as it comes out might cause some weird shadows and whatnot. I can see the sun coming up right now. It's been really hot here lately in the Pacific Northwest. We're being affected by the California wildfires, I think, because the sun looks pretty darn red. And usually when we see a red sun like that, that means that the smoke is here. Alright, so I'm going to go in with my Milani foundation. You know it's been my favorite. I absolutely love it. Some of the stuff I wanted to talk about, I thought I would talk about with you guys is something that has been on my mind for a while now. And I just wanted to talk with you guys about it, get your thoughts on it, where you're coming from with it. Lately I've noticed, well, in the last several weeks, I've really been aware of the amount of excess we have on YouTube in the beauty community, just in the beauty community. It just seems like cosmetics companies are constantly putting out products and you know, it's like everybody's racing to get the latest and greatest palette, and I don't have the benefit of getting PR, you know, so a lot of the times I've got to buy this stuff out of pocket. That gets expensive. Before I went on my slow buy, I'm not going to call it a no buy because I have been shopping, but I've been shopping very deliberately and very strategically, you know, and it's mostly things that I want to bring to you guys, things that I think that you would enjoy hearing about. I used to go out and every payday I would go out and spend, you know, $100, $200 on makeup to bring to my channel. I just realized that was insanity, you know, that's not sustainable for one. What I question is, does anybody really need that many eyeshadow palettes, really? I just think that it's gotten too excessive. And cosmetics companies it's called cannibalizing. You know, they are cannibalizing their products because they come out with a new one so soon. And it used to be really rare that a cosmetics company would give PR. I remember back in the day on YouTube when Urban Decay was releasing the Naked 3, there were only a handful of vloggers that got it ahead of time from Urban Decay. And since then, you know, the PR lists have grown and everybody's goal is to get onto a PR list, you know, and it just feels so much like YouTube has lost a lot of its original charm. When I started watching YouTube makeup videos, it was for learning. And now it just feels like YouTube videos are all about pushing product and not teaching people how to use product and not talking about actual products. I mean, that was another thing that was, you know, OG YouTube is product reviews, but it's because you would buy them yourself and then you would try them out. And the reviews meant a lot more because the vloggers were buying these products with their own money. Now, it just feels too much like everybody is pushing product. Got all of this sponsored content out there, which I'm not knocking it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it because a lot of these people, YouTube is their livelihood and, you know, sponsored content is part of how they make money. It's just an oversaturation of it, I think. And influencer marketing has become such a big deal for companies right now. It's a very inexpensive way of getting people to talk about or advertise their product. I don't know, I could trust what people were saying on YouTube a lot more back in the day than I can now. And if I see somebody that's constantly doing sponsored content, I'm like, what's genuine here? You know, you're just talking about these things because you're getting paid, and yes, you might genuinely like them and all this stuff, but how much of that is the paycheck talking? So I prefer it when I'm following or watching a vlogger that actually don't do a lot of sponsored content. I'm not saying don't do sponsored content, I'm just saying don't make everything sponsored, you know, because then people start to question your motives. But again, it's just the nature of how things have changed in the beauty industry, in the influencer industry. Another thing that is very annoying to me about all of this is the fact that I follow a lot of people on Instagram and I see them going to all these brand events. The brands are whining and dining them like crazy. Part of what is aggravating or frustrating to me is the fact that those of us that are over the age of 40 love makeup too. Why is it that I don't see influencers in this age group going to these events? I wish that brands would understand that as a consumer, a woman of age, I'm more likely to buy something if it's being presented to me by somebody that is like me. You've got a lot of these young girls and guys that are going to these brand events, and those of us that are in the over 40 age demographic, I don't ever see them there. I watch Risa Does Makeup, which she is beautiful and really super talented. She's been in the beauty industry, I think, her entire adult life. And she was talking about how she got invited to an Urban Decay event. You know, it was her first, and how she felt really out of place. And she's an over 40 beauty content provider as well, or content creator. And she was talking about how she went to this event and she felt a little out of place and she felt a bit intimidated. And it was because there was nobody there that was her age. And I can totally understand that because I've thought about it. It's like, what would I do if I were invited to one of these brand parties? How would I interact at that party? Because, you know, it's nothing but a bunch of young kids that can't relate to my life the way that it is. You know, they just don't understand what it is to be this age. So anyway, she was talking about how she felt really out of place, and there was, you know, it was just a very interesting experience for her. And she did this whole video about ageism in the beauty industry. It was really good, and I agree with a lot of what she said. And that was one of the reasons that I got into YouTube, you know, is because I saw that our demographic of over 40 is severely underserved here on YouTube. There's not a lot of representation of anyone in this age group in the beauty industry. And I wish that these brands would understand that we want to see people like us advertising their products, because truth be told, you know, unless you're born into money and you inherit some money in your 20s, you don't have as much disposable income as people in our age group. That's not to say that everybody that is over 40 has a lot of disposable income. A lot of people still struggle no matter what. But a lot of people in this demographic, if you look at income, we have a lot of spending power. And from my perspective, you know, we've got the buying power. Why on earth would the cosmetics companies not try harder to cater to us? I saw it as an opportunity, one, to talk and help out a group that is severely underserved. The bulk of my viewers are women, and they are over the age of 35. I want to represent this age group because that's a good chunk of the population. You know, and cosmetics companies still to this day feel that marketing their products, selling eternal youth, using a very young model is not the reality. We don't want the fantasy. We want the results. You know, we want to see if the product works. From my perspective as an influencer though, even though I am a very, very small micro influencer, we have the power to talk to these brands about this and to start the conversation with them, you know. And part of my goal when I joined up in YouTube and started doing this, and once I really fully understood how the beauty industry works on YouTube, is I want to start the conversation with brands about the reality of being in this age group and what we in this age group really want to see from them, from a presentation of their product to us. It's very frustrating. That's one of the things that I hope to accomplish here on YouTube, is to bring this awareness to brands. Because truth be told, YouTube is a platform for the millennials. You know, our age group are just now really starting to adopt YouTube. So that's part of the reason why we don't have so many people in this age group, because a lot of people in this age group don't have the time to sit around and watch videos all day. But, you know, I do have a fair few followers that are in this age group that do watch YouTube regularly, because they're looking for inspiration, they're looking for tips and tricks. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox about that. I just have that's been preying on my mind a lot lately. What are your thoughts about it? You know, how do you feel about about the fact that brands are constantly putting products out? You know, I mean, at incredible speeds and quantities. For me, I'm not buying into that anymore, and I'm rethinking the content on my channel because, like I said earlier, when I first started watching YouTube, it was a learning tool for me. Then I got caught up in it because it was so mind-blowing to have people out there on the interweb talking about putting makeup on and talking about tips and tricks that they learned. And you know, you get professional makeup artists that are jumping onto YouTube and teaching and things like that, and there are a few really good ones out there. You know, I really have to say that Jaclyn Hill is probably one of the best beauty bloggers out there because she's really good at teaching and she really knows her stuff. You know, I don't want to continually push product unless I really believe in it, and so I'm very selective these days on what I'm buying and what I'm presenting, because I don't want to perpetuate this phenomenon that is happening right now. I don't think that it's fair to you guys to make you feel like you need to buy every single Too Faced palette that is launched or every single Urban Decay palette that is launched unless I really love it. That was, you know, part of what YouTube used to be. It used to be product recommendations coming from people that weren't sponsored by product. Not to mention the fact that, you know, these brands, they constrain you to what they want you to say when you're sponsored, you know, and that you lose a lot of the creative freedom that you would normally have when you're buying the product yourself out of pocket and giving an honest opinion. I do follow a few people that it just seems like they love everything, you know, and they're sponsored, and I just don't trust that I'm getting the real truth about the product. When you've got somebody that is putting out, you know, over 30% of their content is sponsored. Like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing sponsored content. Don't make everything that you put out be something sponsored. I don't trust when I see that happening. I have been rethinking the content that I'm putting out, and you guys haven't seen the change yet because I haven't really been able to put the plan into action just because I keep getting busy and life and work keep getting in the way of things. But I am thinking about how I can improve my channel, how I can provide more value to you guys, because when I started out with YouTube, you know, it was selfish as well. You know, I've said it, you know, time and time again. I needed an outlet because I'm the only one around me that loves makeup the way that I do. I'm thinking about how I can provide content that is of value to you. You know, I want to give you content that you're enjoying, that you can use. So that being said, what do you guys want to see from me? You know, what are your thoughts on this subject? Are you okay with a constant pushing of new product? You really, honestly, don't need more than 2 palettes in your life. The palettes will last you at least for a couple of years. You might run out of a shade or two in them, but it shouldn't be this constant purchasing cycle. Then again, you have people like me and a lot of the people that are here on YouTube that really love makeup and they love collecting it, and you know, they want to, you know, they're growing their collection because it becomes a little bit of an obsession, and it is an obsession. I buy palettes and because they're so pretty, or because I like the packaging or something like that. And 5 years ago, I would never have dreamed of doing that. 5 years ago, I wore the same makeup every single day. Eyeshadow as well. And what's a matte eyeshadow? You know, I mean, I would use really shimmery eyeshadow all over my eye, which I guess in a lot of ways, thank you YouTube, you know, for teaching me that there are other makeup techniques out there, and that maybe having shimmery shadows all over your eye isn't the best thing for you. So anyway, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to change my channel you know, and would love your feedback on what you want to see, what is of interest to you. You know, what are some of the topics that are of interest? This crazy heat is driving me nuts, man. I worry about climate change because in the last few years, and we see it, I think we can see it a lot easier, or I can see it a lot easier here in the Pacific Northwest. The weather here has been changing so much in the last few years. It's gotten drier. It's gotten hotter. It is very concerning. I do what I can. Of course, I don't drive an electric car. I'm just going to attribute that to me being from Texas. I hope I don't offend my Texas viewers out there, but hey, I grew up there. You know, we drive everywhere in Texas because it's so big. There's a lot of urban sprawl. SUVs and pickup trucks are a big deal over there. And those of you guys from Texas know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Everybody, you know, wants to have that big ass truck. Me, myself, I'm more of an SUV kind of gal. I just recently bought one. I hadn't had an SUV in about 10 years. And I wrecked my car because I was being stupid and thought I could drive in the snow. And I loved that car. I drove a Mustang, you know, and I loved my car very, very much. And I went and wrecked it. I was trying to get to a meeting that I thought was more important than my safety, I guess. It snows here in the Seattle area, but we're not necessarily equipped for snow because if we get snow, it'll be every once in a while. It's not a regular thing. Rain is a regular thing here. I hear that BoxyCharm is coming out with kind of like an added feature to their subscription service. It's called the Luxe Box, and it's a quarterly box. I think they're going to charge more. I think what I read was they would charge you an extra $28 in the month that the Luxe Box was going to be released if you opt in. It's going to have more than makeup. You know, it's going to have fashion and lifestyle stuff in there too, which my guess is they're competing with FabFitFun. I've never subscribed to FabFitFun. I got to pay for this stuff myself, so spending $50 a quarter on a box, you know, that's $200 in a year. I've already got BoxyCharm, and the products in the FabFitFun box have never really grabbed my attention enough to make me want to invest that kind of money in a subscription service. But if you guys are interested in seeing what the Luxe Box is all about from BoxyCharm, let me know in the comments down below, because I'm happy to try a few and see what they have if you want to see what it's all about. I'm also running a contest right now on my channel, and I'm not broadly advertising it. My rationale behind it is I want people that are actually watching and that comment and that do stay for the long haul to have the best chance. I've decided that for this contest, I'm embedding the news about the contest within the video. My giveaway has just two very simple criteria. You have to be subscribed and you have to comment down below. So if you're subscribed and you comment about the Luxe Box down below, I'm going to capture that as an entry. And I forgot to mention, I always forget to mention, I'm so bad. I always forget to mention that even if you commented on that first video, any video that you comment on after is another entry into the contest. So you have more than one opportunity to enter the contest. And oh, I guess I should tell you what I'm giving away. That would be good to know, wouldn't it? I'm giving away the Kathleen Lights Color Pop Zodiac collection, which, you know, I've noticed that that collection is getting a little bit of a lukewarm reception. I think people are thrown off by the shades that she selected for the palette. It's a really beautiful palette. It really is. It's very, very pretty. These are shadows that are shades that I would not normally gravitate to. Not as good as her Dream Street palette, but it wasn't bad either. I think it's beautiful, and the packaging and the concept behind it, and it's fun. I love astrology. I do. I thought about doing an astrology series on my channel, you know, but I didn't. I just didn't want to jump on that bandwagon. But if you guys are interested in seeing something like that from me, let me know. Because I love talking about the zodiac. I love all of that stuff. I used to really be into it when I was younger. I think that a lot of people are like, there's no truth in that and blah, blah, blah. Well, if you're thinking about horoscopes, you're absolutely right. I don't trust horoscopes because they're very broad, you know. They're very, very broad. Unless you are getting your charts read by a professional and they can tell you what influences are out there, because I don't think it's so much predicting the future. I think it's just the influences of the planets out there. I'm more about what the zodiac, what the personalities traits are, who you are as a person, because there's a lot of truth in zodiac, I think, as far as like defining a personality, because I'm a Leo and I am very much a Leo, but I also have a Cancer moon sign, which to me is perplexing because it's like fire and water. So I'm kind of, I guess, divided internally, which is true. I don't consider myself an overly emotional person, but I do, I guess, have some Cancer-like traits. I am a very private person. I think that's a part of my Cancer traits, you know, is that need for privacy. Although Cancers, I think, do have some deeper emotions and whatnot. Again, I don't necessarily consider myself an emotional person. And as soon as somebody around me starts crying, I freak out, and, you know, I want to run away and hide because I just can't deal with that. But, you know, a big chunk of who I am is very much a Leo. I love being a Leo. I think being a Leo is like bomb, which is typical Leo response, right? Kathleen, when she was talking about Leo, well, she was talking about all of them. She has them all spot on. I mean, you know, that really is how, you know, each of the zodiac signs are. When she was talking about Leo, she was so spot on about everything, about the fact that anytime anybody tells me, you know, it's like, oh, Leos, it's like, yeah, we're the best. Just saying. That's exactly how we are. That's exactly how we are. My sister is also a Leo. And she and I both are the same. It's like, oh, well, you know, don't you wish you were a Leo? A lot of people think that Leos are unreasonable and they're arrogant, and we are. But me personally, at any rate, I don't get upset if you're giving me negative feedback, because feedback is a gift. Now, there's a difference though. If you're getting hateful comments, really nasty, you know, feedback, non-constructive criticism, you know, that type of thing is annoying. And if people do it, I will ask them to stop, and if they don't stop, I will cut them off. Getting negative feedback in a constructive way is always a good thing, because you need to know if you're doing something wrong, or if you're doing someone a disservice or whatever. You need to know that so that you can course correct. So I don't mind negative feedback. But if you're going to be hurtful about it, then that's something different. I've got pretty thick skin, you know, and if you are going to be hurtful about it, I'm just all like, whatever. You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I am, you know, and I'm a Leo. And while I have an ego, you know, I'm also very confident in myself in a lot of ways. There are certain ways where I am not confident. I think body image is one of those areas where I'm not confident. I think that might be part of the reason why I haven't done my Nordstrom haul, because I bought a bunch of clothes and I can't shoot myself on camera, because when I see myself on camera like that, I just don't like what I see. I'm never satisfied with what I see, and so I don't do it. I want to branch out into fashion, but I just feel I can't put myself out there like that. When I first started my blog, if you look at a lot of my early blog posts, I was attempting fashion in those blog posts. It was really hard, you know, to look at the pictures and find the ones that I felt looked good, because none of them looked good to me. And so I've got body image issues that I need to work through. And I think I have a little bit of dysmorphia, you know, body dysmorphia. If you're not familiar with what body dysmorphia is, it's essentially having a perspective of your body that is not true. A good example of body dysmorphia is when someone loses a lot of weight, but when they look at themselves in the mirror, they still see the fat person, you know, even though they're thin and they look really good and all of this and that, you know, but all they see is the fat person. I know I have dysmorphia because I can't be as grotesque as I think I am, you know? And I say grotesque because that's sometimes how I feel when I look at myself in the mirror. I'm all like, God, you really need to do something about this weight issue, you know? You really need to get back to the gym. You really need to get back to that lifestyle, because I used to work out a lot and I used to be super fit, you know, and at a decent weight. And I'm just not that anymore. You know, ever since my wedding, I stopped going to personal training. But before my wedding, I have been going to personal training for about 10 years, you know, and working out consistently at the gym and trying to maintain a good diet and staying just really active. Since my wedding, I haven't been doing that, and I haven't even had the gumption to do that, truth be told. You know, I don't, the personal training thing, I'm all like, it's the most miserable hour of my day when I have to go to personal training. And I've written about this on my blog. Food is an addiction, and it's not food. Let me clarify. It's not food that is the addiction. Carbs are the addiction. Fat on its own isn't necessarily a bad thing. Carbs on their own aren't necessarily a bad thing, but when you combine fat and carbs together, that's when it becomes dangerous to your health. So I have been keto dieting, but then my birthday rolled around and I bounced out of keto because I've discovered that I can go about 8 weeks before my carb addiction really takes hold, and all I do is obsess about carbs. I've got to figure out a way to break that carb addiction. I do know that whenever I'm doing keto, mentally I feel wonderful. You know, I feel so good when I'm doing keto mentally. The ketogenic diet was actually created for children who had epilepsy and were resistant to epilepsy medicines. And keto is definitely a brain diet. Essentially, what happens in keto, your body naturally burns glucose as fuel, and carbs help produce glucose. Well, when you're on keto, you reduce your carbs down to just the essentials. Usually it's like 25 grams of carbs is the sweet spot. You burn off all of the glucose in your body, and your body begins using ketogens for fuel, or fat. Ketogens are found in fat cells. So your body starts burning fat for fuel instead, you know, and not just for exercise, just for fuel, you know, just for living and breathing and having a beating heart and all of that. The brain processes the ketogens better than glucose. And I find that when I'm on keto, I am so mentally sharp. You know, decision making is really easy. I am aware. I am very alert. I just feel so much smarter when I'm on keto. I really do. It's just living without carbs is so hard because there are carbs everywhere. When you're on keto, you're walking around in a world that is just pushing sugar and bread and grains at you, and it gets really hard, especially when you grow up eating carbs and when you really love carbs. When you bounce out, getting back in is what's hard. And so I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't bounce out, but God, after 8 weeks, I just can't stand it anymore. I have to have some sort of a carb. I really think I need to go through a lipstick declutter. That is not red. That is more on the orange side, which I'm not mad at. I was watching Coffee Break with Danny, and she was giving a little tip that actually does work that I'll share with you guys. If you want to look like you have fuller lips, then don't define your divot. You know, kind of go over it. Don't define it. And that will give the illusion of fuller lips. All right, everybody. So that was my chit chat. Get ready with me. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, giveaway is going on right now on my channel. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed, and you can enter to win a ColourPop Zodiac collection, the full thing. I bought the entire set for the giveaway, so you guys make sure that you enter, and I will be tracking your comments. And I'm sorry about this weird shadow that I got going on right now. I will be tracking your comments, and please also, you know, a couple of the things that we talked about today, would really love to know your thoughts on, like, There we go. I'd really like to know your thoughts on, you know, ageism in the beauty community. I want to hear what you think about that, because I think that it's important. It's an important conversation to have, and I would love to have that conversation here. Also anything that you would like for me to do or you want to see me do here on my channel. You know, I started out YouTube, it was about me, but it has evolved into being about you guys. That's all that I have for you guys today. Thank you again so much. Really appreciate it. Love you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.